Hi, I'm Laura D Pusey. Thanks for joining me. I am the founder of Dipism, Death in Practice, and on this channel we're delving deeper into death, grief, and ultimately life. Okay, just to remind you, no unauthorized people can enter this space, but if you are in your own space, you are fine to continue as you are. Settle down and make sure you're comfortable and enjoy the video. You will also see that the comments are turned off, and this is for a few reasons. Firstly, these are my personal perspectives gained from extensive work in my field, and I'm just putting my thoughts out there, so it's vital that I and my viewers are protected from any negative or low vibes. I want you, the viewer, to gain your own insights and find answers that work for you. Your journey is personal and it doesn't need to be challenged or mocked or even upheld by any strangers in the comments section. Finally, moving through the realms of death and grief as I do can be quite tiring. This means that I have limited capacity and have to be selective about the people I work and share my energy with. Having said that, I do welcome group and personal one-to-one conversations that delve deeper into the meaning of death and the purpose of grief. During such sessions, I share spiritual and mindful insights, new perspectives, hypnotic suggestions, and common sense guidance for those who seek to gain an inner standing of death and grief based on their own personal truths. For more information, watch to the end of the video, and if you like what you hear, please share this video, like this video, and subscribe to this channel. One love. Now, in the previous video, I answered the question, what is life and why do we live? If you have any further questions about the nature of life with regards to death and grief that you would like me to cover in a video, send an email to deathinpractice@gmail.com. Now, today I'm answering the question of validation with regards to grieving for someone who has died. I have worked with many people who have questioned their right to grieve for someone who has died. I have had many sessions with people who have been denied access to the dying person, the death, and the funeral planning, and then the subsequent funeral. Too many times I have heard the words, well, I suppose I was only. No. There is no only. You are not an only. You had a relationship with the person, yeah? So you grieve. No one can quantify or determine the nature of your grief. In my book, Tapestries of Grief, I share my personal experiences of discarded grief following the death of my mother. We were estranged, and the tense situation was made complex due to her religion. The fact that I had officially turned away from her chosen structure of worship, and our family dynamics. After this video, you might want to purchase a copy of Tapestries of Grief as I share more information about my many experiences of survival through crippling grief. This reference workbook is available on Amazon, and you can find the link in the description box below. Now, let's open the veil of luminescence. With the intention of infinite truths, by the pulse of sacred light, I call forth the veil of luminescence. I anchor this veil in sovereign light to transmute and contain all energetic imprints, attachments, and residues across all realms. The material plane, where grief etches into the body. The emotional plane, where sorrow swells and purges. The mental plane, where stories of loss seek resolution. The astral plane, where echoes of the departed linger.
the interdimensional corridors where ancestral and cosmic threads intertwine, the parallel universes where grief and grace mirror each other. This veil, woven of remembrance and radiance, is encoded with clarity to discern what is yours and what is not. Containment to protect your field, compassion to honour the sacred work of grief, transmutation to alchemize pain into wisdom. Let this veil shimmer between worlds, holding space for the divinity of each soul, the teachings where presence dissolves suffering, the soul's awakening where death births depth, the healing where grief becomes grace. This veil is not a wall but a sacred membrane, allowing only what aligns with truth, love, and remembrance to pass through. By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I seal this veil with sovereignty and light.
Greetings. It's great to have you here. Now, let's jump straight into it. Life is such that we will experience highs and lows over time. The highs lift our spirits and provide a feel-good feeling, but the lows can leave us feeling emotions that take us to places that we'd really rather not be. When someone we know dies, the emotions that arise are dependent on the relationship that we had with them. Depending on how important they were to us, we may feel that we respond to their death in unexpected ways. This can be down to many factors. For example, they may be a neighbour, a work colleague, a friend of a friend, or someone from the past, or someone we were just getting to know. They could be somebody that we knew was on their way out. Whether we know it or not, we do a quick maths on the previous encounters that we've had of death and grief, and then we proceed from our existing knowledge base around instances of how we're going to deal with this death or this grief. You might think, well, I didn't know them very well, but I still feel like shit. Feel it. It's grief, and it's your grief, and it's valid. Now, when someone you love dies, the emotions will hit home that little bit harder because we have physical, spiritual, social, emotional, ancestral, and at times even financial ties to that person. It is important to add the financial aspect because when a loved one dies, this is often the reason why most people get all up in their feelings. We grieve more than just the death. There are many dynamics that come into play when anyone dies, and depending on where you are in that story kind of dictates the level of response that is shown. Way back in video number 3, Whose Funeral Is It Really?, I said that we don't actually know people. What we know is our relationship with them from our own perspective, and at times we don't know how much someone actually meant to us until we learn of their sickness or death. In this video, I am answering the question, is your grief valid? And it most certainly is. Remember, as I have said before, your body, your heart, and your mind grieve. When you relate with someone, you take your whole self to the party, and even though you are unaware of it, the person you relate with has an effect on your body, your heart, and your mind. You know what? I never liked her anyway. And him, he was creepy. My spirit never took to him. As feeling people, we feel when someone is happy. We feel when someone is sad. When we walk into a room, we can feel the overall atmosphere. When we are tuned in, and if it is a tense situation, we feel it, not just physically, but emotionally and on spiritual levels too. When we add the tapestry of our bloodlines to the mix, it's deep. We are so complex as beings and so wonderfully made. So yes, no matter who you are, your grief is valid. Your heart, body and mind will respond regardless of your desire. You may not want to feel, but when it comes to grief, what you want goes all the way out the window, because you feel deep within your body on many levels, and the manifestation of what is felt is grief. In the reference workbook, Tapestries of Grief, I speak about my experience of rejection around my mother's death transition. I very lightly touch on the downright fuckery surrounding my father's death in part 6, when I state that I just wasn't ready for none of it. You don't know. I'll be filling you in through the future videos, because all that I have experienced has led me to this point in time where I can help others because I've been through it. Looking back now, over both scenarios, I can honestly say that it was all truly phenomenal. I can smile, I can even laugh, because people show you who they are. And if you're playing the role of the black sheep archetype in your family, just as I was, just know that this is going to come down on you at some point in time. The black sheep is the one who highlights the cracks, speaks their truth through their being, and ruffles the feathers of illusion. If you are this person, your path is rough and it won't be easy, but it is necessary. Just watch your back. Conflict around the time of death and funeral is akin to the Tower card pulled in a tarot spread. Feared by many, the Tower card is bringing the whole lot down by way of personal, social, or physical structures, learned beliefs and egos through sudden and shocking situations, so that you can either clean it up or walk away. Look out for yourself. At the time of death, people change. You change, and the world you live in changes, and it won't ever be the same again, because someone that you valued is forever physically absent. From an intangible perspective, all that they brought to the table by way of their personality, ability, and style is left to memories. When that person dies, everyone goes through the death transition, not just the person who has died. This means that we all land in a new space. The person is no longer in that seat, talking, sharing, laughing, working, being. What does that mean? It means that everyone now has to assess who they are without the physical presence of that person. There are often secondary losses. At times there are secondary gains, but life seldom stays the same. Naturally, you will grieve on a level that is personal to you, and your grief will be valid. You may not like to hear this, but that person who died, well, they're kind of not as important anymore, because their story in your world has come to its conclusion whilst you still live. There may be outstanding reports and cases and loose ends to be closed, but their death now creates new dynamics, new stories. And those dynamics and stories come with feelings, emotions, actions and reactions that are only felt and processed by the living. Processing through grief brings growth, and your grief is valid. Okay, just to give you some perspective, I was raised in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. Those of you who know will understand exactly what that means. I think it's necessary to talk about the impact one's religion can have on the grieving process, especially if you do not share the same beliefs as the person who has died or those closest to them. I hear stories of what I can only describe as Christian hijacking all the time, and the Christians in these scenarios always have the upper hand. I didn't go to my mother's funeral. I very nearly didn't go to my dad's, and both for the same reasons: my temper and the barefaced liars that had the monopoly over the emotions on the day. To have the monopoly over the emotions means that there is a tenderness that is afforded to them that is not extended to you. It could be because of the histrionics. It could be where you are based within the family line. It could be due to your origin or differences that you might not even be aware of. At times, you have to think about the environment that you are entering. We are talking about death and funerals here, but this advice can be added to any aspect of your life that involves a potentially toxic dynamic. If you know in your heart that this is going to be a hard situation, that you are coming into a conflict zone, that no one will have your back, then please decide for yourself, what is it that will soothe your own soul? I'm not talking about what would make the dead person happy. I'm talking about you. Put yourself first. The person you are mourning has died. What they would have wanted to happen is actually null and void if it puts you in harm's way. Now, this may be a new concept for you to hear and digest, because we live in the shadows of dead people. We assume what we think they would expect us to do, and then we exhaust ourselves living in alignment with that. Don't do it to yourself. And if you're doing it, then please don't do it anymore. You have to live your own life. That's what you came to Earth to do. We live in a world of constant change, right? Everything is changing. Everything is temporary. For every start, there is an end. That is life. And when someone dies, you are given a new perspective through which you can see your life and those within it. You may grieve the past and the people you shared your past with, but I would implore you to look for the gifts of insight that you have been given through this experience, and listen to your grief as it leads you to a new you. Now, it's unlikely that someone is going to tell you to think of yourself. We're always guided to look outside of ourselves and toward doing the right thing, socially acceptable thing. But I'm here to say, F all that. Do what is right for you. You may have to honour the relationship that you had with your loved one away from the majority. It may be safer for you, for your physical and for your mental health. You may do it through a funeral ritual or by holding space in a special place that holds personal memories of good times for you. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm lethal with a pen and paper. Writing has always helped me to get my pain out of my body, heart and mind. If I were to offer you a gift, it would be the gift of journaling or automatic writing. Get yourself a beautiful book and write it down. Ask your questions and let the pen provide the answers. When you look back on your growth over a year, 2 years, 10 years, you'll be glad that you charted your journey. And talk. Talk to whoever will listen without judging you. Talk to someone that you trust. Talk to someone who is not in the mix. Reach out to us at Dippism or other charities and organisations or groups that handle grief. Talk within your community. Talk within your friendship circles. Talk to those in your family that you know have got your back. And talk to your loved one. Write to them. Write them letters. And then look within. Everything you need is within. You just need to access you. Once you know yourself, you will know your grief. Your grief is valid, but it's not to be abused. Your grief is to be respected, not judged. And death is to be experienced and not through fear. I'm going to pause here, and we will definitely return to this subject because that's what this channel is all about, and we are just getting started. Thank you for watching, and if you like what you've heard, please hit that like button and subscribe. If this video has touched you in any way and you need to share your thoughts, let me know at deathinpractice@gmail.com. Please state clearly whether or not any of your email can be shared, and if you want a shout out, then please let me know what to call you. Book your space on the monthly Zoom. At the moment we only have 12 spaces available. The Eventbrite link is in the description box below. If you would like to have a one-to-one session with myself or one of my grief practitioners, contact us at dippism.com. Finally, if someone you know needs to see this video, please do share it with them. Don't be a gatekeeper. Their grief is valid, all right? All my links are in the description box below. And now, let us close the veil of luminescence.
By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I honour the veil of luminescence now fulfilled. This veil, once summoned to transmute and contain, has held the field with clarity, compassion, and sovereign light. As the teachings settle and the soul integrates, I call forth the sacred closure of this veil across all realms. On the mental plane, let the body rest in renewal. On the emotional plane, let sorrow soften into spaciousness. On the mental plane, let stories find stillness. On the astral plane, let echoes return to source. Through interdimensional corridors, let threads untangle. Across spheres and planetary systems, allow contracts to be honoured and released. Let all residues now return to their rightful place, dissolved, dispersed, or transmuted by sovereign light. Let the veil fold inward, encoded with discernment to preserve what is true, containment to seal what is sacred, compassion to cradle what remains tender, and wisdom to carry forth what has been alchemized. This veil is reabsorbed into the soul's archive, a luminous record of presence, grief, and transformation. By the breath of the infinite, by the pulse of the sacred, I seal this veil with sovereignty and light.